All right, final game we're talking about is the ACC championship game between SMU and Clemson, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. The playoff implications are very interesting for this one.
This is the weird one.
It's a very weird one. You and I agree, Dalton. SMU should only be fighting for a first-round bye. That's it. Nothing else. They should not get eliminated from this if they go 11-2. There should not be a 9-3 team that gets in. Can we trust that, though? I don't know if we can guarantee that.
No, not after what we saw with Florida State last year. We can't trust it. I'm with you. I think SMU should be a lock. If Notre Dame's a lock, SMU's a lock.
Absolutely.
That's where I'm at with that.
So, but we can't guarantee that, unfortunately. Even though they should be a lock. I think they would still get in if they lost. But
and that's fine if you want to make them 10, 11, 12 if they lose. I have no issue with that. But they should be in. I think SMU should be darn near guaranteed a spot in right now.
For us right now, they're either playing on the road in the first round or they're getting a first round bye.
Yeah.
They will not host a playoff game.
No.
Because obviously if they would require them to lose this game, right? So, again, it's interesting when you look at it.
If Notre Dame and Indiana are locks, SMU should be a lock.
Yeah. SMU,
without question.
No, listen, the one argument people will make with their strength of schedule, SMU's best win is probably over an 8-4 Louisville team. So I get that a little bit, but again, 11-1, it's like you can't kick them out for a 9-3 team.
And you're one loss by 3 to a top 20 BYU team when you didn't actually know who your quarterback was yet.
Yeah.
This version of SMU would beat the current version of BYU if they played again. I know the hypotheticals, and we're sick of it all, but like that's the thing for me is I don't see why they have any worse a resume really than Notre Dame or Indiana. And we're locking them in. And SMU is not locked in because playing an extra game. That doesn't feel right to me.
Yeah.
Now, we'll get to reasons why we may or may not think it's moot anyway. But I'm with you. I think SMU's a lock. They should be a lock.
So right now, SMU, for us, is really just fighting for a first-round bye and also for their first ACC title in their first year as a member of the conference. Dalton, I mean, you were telling me before, you look at all the Power 4 conferences right now. There's a team that's brand new to the conference that is fighting for that conference title. You got obviously Arizona State coming over from the Pac-12. You got Texas coming over from the Big 12. You got Oregon coming over from the Pac-12 as well, and you got SMU coming over from the American.
And I believe at least 3, if not 4. I'm not sure about the Arizona State game, but I believe all 4 of those first-year teams are favored.
I think all of them.
Yeah,
yeah, you're right. Yeah, I believe they all 4 of them are favorites. So that'll be insane that all 4 newcomers to the conference could win this game. Clemson, though, for their playoff, they do not have the luxury of saying, oh, we can still get in with a loss. No. It's winning in. If you lose, you're out. You're not getting in at 9-4 right now. So beating SMU is quite literally a requirement for the Tigers to crash the field. And also, if Clemson wins this game, Bama, South Carolina, whoever is screwed right now. And actually, I believe on the playoff rankings just came out so we could look at who is currently in.
It appears Alabama is the front-runner bubble team. So if Clemson wins, there's a chance that they will have ruined Alabama's hopes.
Absolutely. I think it would ruin Alabama's hopes.
We're seeing, I'm looking at this. It is, they have Alabama 11, Miami 12, but they would be out because of the seeding. And then Ole Miss, and then South Carolina.
Wow.
They didn't jump South Carolina ahead of Ole Miss. They went head-to-head in both cases. So
where is SMU at?
I have to find this.
Because I think that's important to see like how far away they are from Alabama.
I'm in the article, and I have to find the whole thing. But
let me see if I can find it.
They have Alabama. So what you're going to get is...
They have SMU 8. I don't think they dropped that far to 11.
I don't think you should... If you dropped them to 11, they would still get in.
But then Clemson would get in.
Well, then Clemson would be a problem. Oh, and then you'd have to leave them ahead of Alabama. Yeah, I still think SMU should get in.
Yeah.
I'm in on that. I still think if SMU loses this game, unless they go out there and lose by 40, which they're not going to do that. Yeah. They're not going to go out there and lose to Clemson by 40. Then it would be a different argument. But I think SMU should be a lock. I think Alabama's now rooting like all hell for SMU.
So SMU
that's the safest scenario.
Should be a lock. Can't guarantee it, though, with the playoff committee. Who knows?
Yeah.
Clemson.
I'm not a fan of that process, but yeah.
Clemson has to win this game.
No question.
And Clemson trying to win their 8th ACC title in the last 10 years. They've won 80% or trying to win 80% of the last 10 ACC titles. That's insane what Clemson's done in this conference so far. So it should be a really, really fun game. Dylan, you have the Clemson offense in this game against SMU. What should we be looking out for when the Tigers are the ball?
So, okay. Pretty clear line this year where Clemson has looked great on offense in some games and not so great in some others. Okay, they've scored 24 or less points 5 different occasions this year. They've lost 3 of those games. The other 2 were a very tight win over Pitt and a 10-point win over Virginia Tech when they were actually shut out in the first half. So they have had 5 games this year where their offense has really struggled. The common denominator, those 5 games are their 5 lowest pass blocking grades of the season. When they have played better pass rushes, they have struggled. And last week, South Carolina didn't quite get to Cade Klubnik. Why? Because his average time to throw was 2.14 seconds. They knew they couldn't block South Carolina, and they just told him, dude, get rid of the ball. And guess what? He didn't throw a touchdown. Both of his touchdowns are rushing, right? So now you're talking about, okay, this is it. Clemson either pass protects or they don't, because the receivers are kind of shaky, and Klubnik getting rid of the ball before he wants to isn't optimal, I don't think. I think he's better when he gets to extend plays and throw the ball down the field. But if he has to get rid of it, he has to get rid of it. They have played 4 teams in the Power 4 with what you would probably call above average pass rushes, right? Georgia, South Carolina, Pitt, who gets it with blitzing a lot, and Louisville, okay? SMU right now, kind of in that same range as Louisville, they're 15th in the nation in pass rush grade. And I'll tell you what, they got a boatload of talent on this defensive line that we have not talked about enough. 5 different players with at least 30 pressures and 4 sacks. 5 different players. They have a legit 9-man defensive rotation, starting obviously with my guy Elijah Roberts. He's the leader of the whole thing, 5th in the nation with 55 pressure. But you talk about Jared Harrison Hunt on the inside, guys like Isaiah Smith, Jafari Harvey. They have 9 guys they rotate on this defensive line. SMU, they don't blitz much. They don't have to. And actually, the funny part, they've been blitzing more down the stretch just to start throwing this thing off. So now you're talking about a team that down the stretch of this year, even though they have a boatload of defensive line talent, they're mixing it up with blitzes. They're mixing it up with the alignments up front. They're messing around. You could see one guy standing up here and one out on the edge in a wide 9, or somebody over the center, or sometimes nobody over the interior, and they got this wide thing going. SMU's defensive line, I think, is as good as a lot of the rest of these ones, other than maybe South Carolina, that Clemson has played and had trouble with. If they can control this game and they can rush the passer as well as they have all season, I think Clemson has a serious problem. Because this is the thing. If they don't pass protect, their offense struggles. Again, 5 times they've scored 24 or less points, and that's their 5 lowest pass blocking grades of the season. 9 guys up front, Elijah Roberts especially as the superstar. I'm looking to see if SMU can do it one more time with this deep and talented defensive line.
Yeah, and outside of the ball, Dawn, it's about Clemson's defensive line, really, because how does Clemson contain Brashard Smith, who we haven't talked about a lot either? He's quietly been one of the best running backs we have in college football this year. 91.5 PFF grade, that is 3rd among all tailbacks in the nation. That 92.3 receiving grade leads all running backs in the country. He's the only running back in the nation with 85-plus grades as a rusher and receiver, and he has 90-plus grades in both. So he has been outstanding for SMU's offense this year. And Clemson's defense has had some issues defending versatile running backs this year. For example, Desmond Reed, who leads the nation in receiving yards for running backs, but from Pittsburgh, he caught 10 of 11 targets for 108 yards 3 weeks ago on the Tigers. And this year, Dalton, Clemson is 110th in the nation in yards per carry allowed at 5.5, and they're the 4th worst Power 4 team in terms of explosive run rate allowed at about 20%. So I'm really looking at Barrett Carter and Wade Wood as the 2 linebackers for Clemson in that defense. They will be tasked with ensuring Brashard Smith cannot beat you in this game. Now, Kevin Jennings is also a very good quarterback, and they've got a pretty good receiving core too, so there's a lot in this SMU team you got to take account for. It's not just Brashard Smith, but he is a very, very dangerous player as a runner and as a receiver as well, and Clemson's had some issues defending, obviously great pass catchers at running back, and also just defending the run in general as well. So I'm really looking at how they handle Brashard Smith in this game.
Rhett Lashley fully understands how to use that guy. As a former receiver at Miami, is that right?
Yep.
And he moved to running back. He pulled the Tyrone Tracy on us.
Yeah.
Boy, I think maybe you see more teams start doing that a little bit, moving these receivers. If they don't feel like they like something about them at receiver, they can still go out there and run a swing and do some things in the open field, right? We've seen it at the NFL level with Deebo Samuel, but no, you're talking about a dangerous offense, a great quarterback in Kevin Jennings, who we've talked about a lot this year. Brashard Smith is fantastic. And I think a low-key part, an offensive line that's gotten better as the year has gone on. They got off to a shaky start. You remember back in the BYU game where we were like, we're kind of worried about this O-line, or even the very first game against Nevada where we're like, they're not blocking anybody. But it's gotten better as the year has gone on. I think this offense has gotten better as the year has gone on. And this is, I would argue, front to back, they've been the most well-rounded team in the ACC. I mean, they've played the most dominant football week to week of any team in the conference. I mean, there's a reason they're the team with the best record, I think.
Yeah, and you look at Kevin Jennings, too. I haven't even talked about him, but I was looking at Dylan just like, all right, what does Kevin Jennings not do well? Well, he has an 85.1 passing grade when kept clean, 77.6 under pressure. It's one of the best in the country under pressure.
Mobile as hell.
When he's not blitzed, 80.5. When he is blitzed, 85.6. And against man in coverage and zone coverage, I believe he was top 25 in the country against both as well. There's like nothing you could do against it. Like, he's just really a solid quarterback at everything.
I just have to wonder if Dabo called up Manny Diaz and went, "Hey, what's the deal? Because you're the only one who had the answer. What is it?"
He was really bad against Duke.
I can promise you they sat around all week, or they're going to sit, it's only Tuesday, I forgot. They're going to sit around all this week watching the Duke tape going, what is it? What did he do? Now he fumbled like 3 times.
I was going to say, I feel like an avalanche of just mistakes. Like nothing that can be repeatable, in my opinion.
And then to bounce back and have the last 4 games actually like he's had, and they turn around the next week and just smack Pitt. That's really the tape you watch as you go, okay, what did Manny Diaz do to him, and can we do anything like that?
Remember, how many turnovers did they have in that game? They lost
6.
They lost the turnover battle by 6. I don't think Duke had any.
It was like the first game ever, right?
Yeah, first game or second time in 131 times that has happened where teams lost turnover battle by 6 and won the game. So that just shows how good of a team SMU is. They can have a disaster of a game, turning balls over 6 times, not creating any turnovers either, and they still win the game. It shows how good of a team overall SMU has been this year. So Dawn, ultimately, who will win the ACC title? Will Clemson clinch a spot in the college football playoff and kick out Alabama, or will SMU get a first-round bye?
I just think SMU is the best team in the conference. The more I was thinking about this, and I figured I was going to pick SMU anyway, but I don't know how much reason I can build to pick Clemson to win this game unless SMU does make some mistakes. And it's going to be a good game. Look, Clemson is good. They're 9-3 for a reason. They've played most of their games. They've played well except for the Georgia and the Louisville game, right? I just think I think SMU is actually the best team in the ACC. I think they've played the most consistently dominant football. Their offense is explosive. Their pass rush is fantastic. I think that's going to play a big part in this. As long as they can hold it down and not let Klubnik get quick shots before their pass rush can get there, I think Antonio Williams in the slot obviously has been really good for them. As long as they don't give up too many explosive plays. We saw them getting kind of a shootout with Louisville back then, but I also look at that too, kind of, sometimes you kind of work that ladder of who's beating who and then who else and all of that. Okay, Louisville dominated Clemson, right? SMU went into Louisville and won, right? SMU absolutely blew the doors off Pitt, right? Clemson beat Pitt at the wire. Like, it's things like that where I'm like, I think the ladder kind of makes sense here. I'm taking SMU 30-24. Can Clemson win this game? Absolutely. It's going to be a good football game, but I think SMU is the best team in the ACC, and I think they're just going to have to prove it one more time.
I agree with you. Like you said, they're the most complete team in the conference. I got SMU winning by 1 point, though, 28-27. I think it'll be a very, very good game.
Nail-biter.
Should be a very, very awesome game. I'm really looking forward to it. But I think SMU will win that game. Just they're so well-rounded, offensively and defensively. And again, they're not the best team in the country like Oregon. But when I was looking at SMU, just trying to find weaknesses, like
not a ton. I was worried when R.J. Maryland suffered the season-ending knee injury. I was worried about that because that was a big piece, but they've just kept rolling.
Yeah, and again, they're not like Oregon, but it's like they're very good at everything. Yeah. Right? It's just like they're good at everything.
Oh, they'll be something of a threat to whoever they play in the playoff. Absolutely. Yeah. That's not a team that's just like, oh, it's fun. SMU and the ACC sucks. Like, no, they're really good. They were really good last year, too. I mean, even, it was Preston Stone last year. It's Kevin Jennings this year, and the beat just keeps going for Rhett Lashley.
How about Rhett Lashley, dude? We interviewed him, by the way. If you check out that interview with Rhett Lashley, he's an awesome, awesome guy, and he is doing a hell of a job with that program.
The first 4 or 5 weeks of this season, we side-eyed the hell out of them because we were like, what is going on at quarterback? But they've made it work, and they've made it work this far. So.
And they're back for the first time since like the Pony Express back then, before they got the death penalty for a couple of years, right? So it's amazing what SMU's done, turning around this program now in the ACC. Now we both think they're going to win the ACC championship after being a Group of 5 team last year. That's crazy. That's crazy for Rhett Lashley and that program, beating a behemoth like Clemson, which has been a dominant team in the ACC for so long. But SMU, man, they're just really, really playing good football right now. So I think SMU wins this game, clinches the ACC championship, and clinches a first-round bye in the college football playoffs. So, hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.